Today, we are going to travel to the 5 narrow corridors that hold the power to collapse the world as we know it. We'll see how a single drought in the jungle could starve a continent, and why the most dangerous spot on Earth isn't a shipping lane at all. It's an invisible line under the sea that, if cut, would disconnect you from the modern world instantly. Stick with me until number 1, because it's a choke point most people don't even know exists. Yet it's the only one that can shut down the very screen you're watching right now. Our modern world is an illusion of anywhere, anytime. You click a button and a package arrives. You send a text and it's in Tokyo in milliseconds. But the reality is that the global economy is hanging by a literal thread. This is Signal and Shadow. I'm Dennis Lissack. I investigate the hidden systems quietly holding modern civilization together. Number 5, the Panama Canal. We start in the Americas. The Panama Canal handles 5% of all global maritime trade, acting as the primary link between the Atlantic and Pacific manufacturing hubs. It's an engineering marvel that uses a staircase of water to move ships across a continent. But there's a catch that most people forget. The canal isn't filled with seawater, it runs on rain. Each transit requires 52 million gallons of fresh water to move a single vessel through the locks. In 2023, a historic drought in Gatun Lake turned this marvel into a bottleneck. The authorities had to slash daily transits from 36 ships to just 22. We saw desperate shipping companies paying record auction fees of up to $4 million just to skip the line and avoid the weeks of idling. When Panama slows down, it's not just toys and electronics that get delayed. It's the American grain exports that feed the world and the liquefied natural gas that heats European homes. It proved that even our most sophisticated steel and concrete infrastructure is ultimately at the mercy of the weather. If you had to choose between paying $4 million to skip the line or waiting 3 weeks in the heat, what's your move? Let me know in the comments if you think Panama is still the king of shortcuts or if it's becoming a liability. Number 4, the Suez Canal. Moving to the Middle East, we find the Suez Canal. This 120-mile stretch of water in Egypt is the artery for 12% of all global trade and a staggering 30% of all global container traffic. Think of it as a single-lane highway that never sleeps. We all remember the Ever Given in 2021, that 1,300-foot behemoth that got wedged sideways and became a global meme. But the numbers behind the meme were terrifying. That one ship froze $9.6 billion in trade every single day for 6 days. It created a ghost jam of over 400 ships that took weeks to clear. Today, the threat has shifted from accidents to geopolitics. With rising tensions in the Red Sea, many shipping giants are choosing to abandon the canal entirely. To go round the Cape of Good Hope in Africa adds 3,500 miles and roughly $500,000 in fuel costs per trip. That's not just a statistic, that's a cost that eventually shows up on your grocery bill and your gas pump. The Suez is the world's most vital ditch, and we're discovering it is incredibly easy to turn this shortcut into a dead end. Number 3, the Strait of Malacca. Further east lies the Strait of Malacca. Connecting the Indian Ocean to the South China Sea, this is the busiest shipping lane in the world. At its narrowest point, the Phillips Channel, the waterway is only 1.7 miles wide. It's a literal funnel for the world's energy. This is what strategists call the Malacca Dilemma. China, the world's factory, imports roughly 80% of its oil through this narrow gap. If a rival naval power were to block this strait, the world's second largest economy would begin to starve for energy in a matter of weeks. This isn't just a theoretical risk. It's why we see China spending billions on the Belt and Road Initiative, trying to build land-based pipelines and railroads, just so they don't have to rely on this tiny strip of water. It's the primary reason why the South China Sea is one of the most militarized zones on the planet. Every superpower is fighting for the right to keep this throat open or the power to squeeze it. Number 2, the Strait of Hormuz. If Malacca is the throat, the Strait of Hormuz is the heart. This 21-mile wide corridor is the only way out for the oil-rich nations of the Persian Gulf. 21 million barrels of oil pass through here every single day. That's 21% of the world's total petroleum consumption. The geography here is a nightmare for security. The actual shipping lanes are only 2 miles wide in each direction, bordered by rocky islands and aggressive coastal patrols. In a high-stakes conflict, it wouldn't take a massive fleet to close it. It could be done with a few well-placed mines or a swarm of fast attack boats. We've seen tanker wars here before in the 1980s, and every time tension spikes, the global economy shudders. If Hormuz closes, experts estimate oil prices could skyrocket to over $200 a barrel, triggering a global recession overnight that would make 2008 look like a warm-up. Do you think the world is too dependent on this one 21-mile strip of water? Tell me in the comments, is it time for a global energy plan B? Number 1, the Luzon Strait. Finally, we reached number 1. You probably expected another canal or a mountain pass. Instead, you got a cable. Between the southern tip of Taiwan and the northern Philippines lies the Luzon Strait. It's not just a path for ships, it is the data superhighway of the world. While we think of the internet as being in the cloud, it actually lives on the ocean floor. Roughly 90% of all internet traffic between Southeast Asia and the United States flows through a cluster of fiber optic cables resting in this strait. This area is a geological and political minefield. It sits directly on the Ring of Fire, and in 2006, a single undersea earthquake snapped 7 cables simultaneously. It didn't just slow down Netflix, it effectively deleted the internet for millions in Hong Kong and across Asia for weeks. Today, the risk is no longer just nature, it's gray zone warfare. These cables are the ultimate soft target. They aren't much thicker than a garden hose, and they are incredibly difficult to repair in a conflict zone. Cut the Luzon cables and you don't just stop oil or sneakers, you stop the global banking system, the GPS that guides our planes, and the cloud services that run our lives. It is the most fragile, yet most essential link in our modern civilization. These 5 choke points prove that our global system isn't a solid foundation. It's a web, and it's far more fragile than we'd like to admit. When the shadow of physical trade meets the signal of digital data, these are the points where the world can break. If you found this dive into the world's hidden architecture fascinating, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're decoding the systems that run our world every week here at Signal and Shadow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.